What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guiding Keys, the story of Kingdom Hearts, presented by the Unlockables podcast. I am your host. My name is Eric, and I have been your guide on this adventure that we're taking through the Kingdom Hearts series and guide through the wonderful, wonderful mind of series creator and director Tetsuya Nomura. Before we dive in today, I'd like to first thank you for tuning in wherever, whenever in time and space you may be located. It means a lot to me that you're here to check out the show and see what is happening in the world of video games, or in this case, see what is happening in the world of Kingdom Hearts. Now, this is part 4 of our playthrough of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and we got the final pieces of the puzzle and managed to fit them all together between Terra, Ven, and Aqua, what happened to this trio of friends, and we unlocked the secret final episode where Aqua had her confrontation with the possessed body of Terra. It was possessed by Xehanort, managing to defeat him, but ultimately causing him to sink in the darkness, only for her to rescue him, returning him to the realm of light, while Aqua herself sunk into the depths of darkness below, trapped in the realm of darkness, as far as we know for now. So this episode is going to tie together and wrap up everything that we went through in the last 3 parts. I did my best to kind of connect the story threads as we went along, but there were some things that I said I wanted to save until the end. I'm going to do my best to remember what those things were and kind of go through and wrap up all of those story points and tie the threads, the story threads of this game to the ones that we've already played and kind of set the arc for the story going forward, because Birth by Sleep is kind of this middle point where a lot of stuff changes and a lot of things about the overarching story come into view. So in order for us to be able to properly move on to Recoded and Dream Drop Distance, I think it's important to establish this knowledge now. And I'm telling you some things that might not be revealed till later games. I'm telling you them now because I think to appreciate the narrative of Kingdom Hearts, it's just better for you guys to know these things going into the next game. If you were playing these games as they came out, you used to have to wait years to get more story bits, more story morsels to find out what was actually going on. We didn't just have all these games on a collection. We had to wait for them to come out one at a time. And in those periods of time, there was rampant speculation about what was going on. It was a really fun time as we tried to uncover the clues that Nomura left us. It's one of the reasons why the Kingdom Hearts community is probably one of the best and one of my favorite, definitely one of the most passionate when it comes to finding out what Nomura has left behind for us to find out. And he's all about that too. He loves leaving things. It's part of the reason. He himself said it's part of the reason why he makes games. He loves making games in such a way that when they're done or his fans are playing them or as the series is going on, they can talk, they can speculate, they can try and figure out what's coming next. He absolutely loves that part of his job, and he loves to torment the fans with things in his games. So I'm going to wrap up some stuff here. We're going to get some information that will enhance the playthroughs of the following games. And if you're managing at this point to still kind of hang on and follow the story, it should enhance your listening to me explain the story to you as we go forward. So let's dive into the epilogue and start talking about the things that we need to talk about in order to wrap up Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Before we start this epilogue, I wanted to take a moment to clear up something that I had said in the last episode. During the last episode, I said it would have saved everyone a lot of trouble if Aqua had just let Terra Xehanort sink into the darkness. And, well, objectively, this is true, and from a logic standpoint, this probably would have made the most sense. Listening back to that episode and kind of thinking about it, it's not in the spirit of the themes of Kingdom Hearts, right? It's repeated in the games that destiny is never left to chance. It's one of the taglines, one of like the subtitles of all the games of the entire series, meaning that everything happens for a reason. So Aqua choosing to save Terra's possessed body plays a bigger role in the grand scheme of things and ultimately kicks off this story that involves Sora, Riku, and Kairi, who are probably the biggest players in the story right now and are the only ones capable of stopping whatever plan is to come here. Secondly, we know from our time with the series so far that bonds, connections, friendships are the core tenets of the series. These are the most important things out of everything that we play. And each game has kind of its own themes that it talks about. Like Kingdom Hearts 2 talks about identity. Kingdom Hearts 1 is very much like a traditional hero's journey. All of it has to do with like growing up and facing challenges as you grow up. But above everything, every game goes out of its way to stress that the bonds, the connections with the people you love, with the people you care about, are the most important thing in the world, in the life. It's a power that can overcome anything. Doesn't matter if it's Keyblades, Kingdom Hearts, Power of Light and Dark, doesn't matter. As long as you stay true and treat your friends right, there's nothing you can't overcome. You never forsake your bonds of friendship. And when you do, bad things happen. While Aqua's decision to save Terra Xehanort may have set the worlds and set the series on a worse path overall, she was just remaining true to her friendship. And in that moment, she ultimately chose her role as Terra's friend over her role as a Keyblade master to protect the worlds. And yes, it caused a lot of pain and suffering, but she was just holding true to the core tenets of Kingdom Hearts. And we often see that even though things break bad in the series, as long as you're holding true to those truths, to those beliefs, most of the time, even though there might be short-term suffering, things find a way to kind of work themselves out in the end. So I remember I left the last episode, saying that Aqua shouldn't have made that decision, but in the spirit of the game, in the spirit of everything, it certainly was the right decision. Now, let's just kind of go over where things kind of currently stand with our three protagonists so I can go through and start pulling on plot threads and kind of unraveling them and pulling that string so I can tie it to the previous games, because I think you'll see here a lot of things are going to come full circle, and it really strengthens the overall narrative of the 4 previous games that we've played. So Terra started off on a journey of self-discovery, seeking to conquer the darkness inside of himself, to prove himself worthy to be a Keyblade master. That's all he's ever wanted. Because of this, he was targeted and manipulated by Master Xehanort, who sought to take his body from him as Xehanort's was old and failing him. He needed a younger body to continue his work, to continue his pursuit of knowledge. Ultimately, Xehanort succeeded, taking Terra's body from him. In regards to Ventus, we know that Xehanort extracted the dark part of Ven's heart, forming the dark being Vanitas. And through Vanitas' manipulations, Ven was sent out into the world so that one day he and Vanitas could clash to form the ultimate Keyblade, the X-Blade, the ultimate key that could summon Kingdom Hearts, uniting all the hearts of all the worlds and beginning the next Keyblade War. Ven ultimately defeats Vanitas in an inner struggle inside of his heart, preventing the Keyblade from being forged at the cost of his own heart. His heart left his body and he fell into a deep slumber, never to awaken unless his heart would return. And as far as we know, he sleeps to this day in the memory-wiping confines of Castle Oblivion. As for Aqua now holding the mantle of Master as she passed the Mark of Mastery exam when Terra did not, had the expectations of Master Ericus placed on her shoulders immediately. She journeyed forth into the world to defeat the Unversed, to find Master Xehanort, to bring Ven back home, and to keep an eye on Terra, lest he fall to the darkness. Ericus really left her with a lot to do, with a lot to worry about. All these things distracting her from the grander manipulations of Master Xehanort. Aqua's struggle between her duties as master and her connection with her friends caused friction and distrust as the distance between the three friends grew wider. At the Keyblade Graveyard, she ultimately defeated a possessed Ven and prevented the Keyblade from being used at the cost of Ven entering an eternal sleep. She left Ven at the destroyed Land of Departure, which she transformed into Castle Oblivion from Chain of Memories, castle that we know messes with people's memories the longer you stay inside of it. She then went to find Terra, fighting the Xehanort possessed body of her former friend, defeating him and sending him into the realm of darkness. But she makes the decision, like I referenced at the top, to rescue Terra Xehanort and ultimately ends up trapped in the realm of darkness herself. As for Terra Xehanort, the possessed body of Terra holding the heart of Master Xehanort, after his battle with Aqua, Xehanort is found by Ansem the Wise and future members of Organization 13. He has no memory of who he is or of his past. He's taken and trained as Ansem's apprentice. And this lines up with what we learn about Xehanort in Ansem's reports from Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. He was a man that had amnesia. He had no knowledge of his previous life, and he volunteered for the experiments in hopes that his mind would be unlocked, his memories would be unlocked, and he would know where he came from. So during his time with Ansem the Wise, Xehanort did not know he was a former master, that this was Terra's body. He had no idea who he was. And at some point, his memories awakened, or whether or not him splitting his body into two, into a Heartless and a Nobody, was part of that plan. So we're not really sure when in the timeline that Xehanort remembers, if he does at all. So the first thing I wanted to touch on for this epilogue is the secret ending movies, or secret ending series of cutscenes, and it is referred to as blank points. If you fulfill certain criteria or beat the game on a certain difficulty, you unlock this kind of secret movie. In the spirit of all the previous Kingdom Hearts games where there are secret movies telling us more about the coming games, except this is not some flashy CGI animated trailer. This is in-engine, just like the rest of the game. There's dialogue, there's story bits. It's 12 minutes long. There's things revealed to us. So there's 4 text prompts that we get that introduce kind of each part, and each part's like a different cutscene. So the first text we see is Hidden Truths, and we get a scene where Terra and Xehanort are appearing to have an inner struggle inside of what can only be presumed as Terra's heart. They're standing there across from one another, conversing with one another in total darkness. Xehanort insisting that he will ultimately engulf Terra's heart, while Terra insists that he will triumph over Xehanort, with Xehanort saying that Terra is just one of many roads he can choose to take.
Darkness rules your heart. It gives me control. Muscle and sinew that once obeyed you now rebels against you. How you can remain here at all confounds the mind.
It's still my heart. You think you can just come in and take over? I'm not gonna sit by and let that happen.
Don't even entertain any notions of escaping me, boy. In the end, your heart will be engulfed by mine forever.
Wrong. You're gonna get shown the door, old man.
As I recall, you couldn't even handle your own darkness. How then will you triumph over mine?
You'll find out soon enough.
Oh, so that's how it is it? Someone else has set foot in your heart. Ericus, you sly fox.
I'm not afraid of what the darkness holds now. Even if you do wrest control of my heart from me. Even if you cast me into the deepest, darkest abyss. You'll never sway me from the one cause that pushes me to keep on fighting. Whatever the cost, I'm ready to pay it.
Brave words, to be sure. But I'm a patient man. We can take as much time as we need to settle this little property dispute. However, know this. You are just one of many roads that I might choose to take. Trust me, I made certain of that.
The next text prompt we get states images of their backs preserved in history, We see Terra Xehanort in full research lab coat walking along the corridors underneath the Radiant Garden Castle when Braig/Zigbar catches up with him. He jokes with Terranort, asking if the amnesia was a joke, checking to make sure he isn't actually Terra, and Terranort just kind of looks confused. He's not really sure what to make of it. We see Ansem the Wise walking with the little boy Ienzo, who would be Zexion, eating ice cream, and he turns and notices that Braig and Xehanort are walking together and gives them a concerned look. The third text prompt we get states, two who were never meant to meet. We transition to a scene of a man sitting on the beach of the Dark Margin in the classic organization cloak, and we can tell by his veiled face, although we've seen just enough of it, that this is Ansem the Wise. And who should approach him sitting there but none other than Aqua, still in the realm of darkness. She approaches and asks who he is.
Who are you?
Why, hello. It's not often I get visitors.
Please, call me Aqua. Why are you sitting here all alone in the realm of darkness? How did you end up here?
Well, I can tell you this is my second time on these shores, but unfortunately, much like the first, I do not remember who I am or whence I came. Everything was washed away in whatever currents carried me here.
We know that it's Ansem the Wise, but Ansem responds to Aqua saying that it's his second time here, and he doesn't remember who he is or how he got there. During their conversation, Aqua expresses her desire to return to the world and help her friends. Ansem, with whatever memories he has left, tells her that she reminds him of a boy he once knew.
Somewhere in the scraps of memory I have left, you remind me of a boy I once knew. He is very much like you. True to his friends and kind, this boy travels to many worlds and fights to keep the light safe.
Aqua inquires to the status of the worlds, with Ansem responding that they nearly felt the darkness multiple times. But then he mentions how that boy would arrive with his Keyblade to save the day. When Aqua hears this, she's excited for a brief moment as she asks if the boy's name is Terra or Ven, hoping against hope that maybe one of her former friends has found themselves and is continuing the fight to this day. But Ansem says that neither of those are his name.
How long has it been since I met him? At least a year now, perhaps more. Back then, my heart was clouded with vengeance. I did terrible things, both to him and his friends. I brought unhappiness to more lives than one. I felt something must be done. Was that why? A means of clearing my conscience, or perhaps out of a sort of scholarly instinct? While the boy slept his long sleep, I hid the results of my research inside him, transplanting the data to where it might best serve a purpose. In fact, I would like to believe maybe he can set things right. A boy like him who touches so many hearts, he could open the right door and save all those people whose lives I managed to ruin. So many are still waiting for their new beginning, their birth by sleep. Even me, and even you.
Aqua then asks Ansem what the boy's name is, and he tells her, Sora. And here we get a montage of all the people who have been hurt by Xehanort/Ansem/Seeker of Darkness /Xemnas saying Sora's name, signifying that they're all waiting for him to help them. Naminé, Axel, Roxas, Xion, Terra, Ven, and finally back to Aqua, who has tears in her eyes, filled with hope for the first time in a long time, realizing that the boy she met on Destiny Islands so many years ago is the same one fighting to protect the worlds, and that he may just have the power to save them all. The last text prompt reads, Where They Wait for Him. We go to the present time, to Destiny Islands, and the camera pans to Sora in his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit, signifying that this is just after Kingdom Hearts 2. He's sitting on the palm tree, staring out at the sunset, and he's holding the bottle and a note from the king that Kairi found at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 and gave to him and Riku. Riku approaches, calling his name and asking if his mind is made up, to which Sora says that it is. Kairi approaches and Sora gets off the palm tree ready to explain himself to her, but she simply smiles and nods.
Sora.
Kairi. It's just, they really need me. I have to go. I am who I am. Because of them.
See you soon.
And then we get a black screen with golden words that read, Reconnect, Kingdom Hearts. Oh, so the secret movie tells us a lot. A lot. There's a lot of things here. There's an continuing inner struggle between Terra and Xehanort. It's clear that he continues to struggle against Xehanort's possession of his body, which may explain Xehanort's amnesia in the current time, as he served as Ansem's apprentice. Whether that's the case now, we don't know, because, like I said, Xehanort turned into a heartless and a nobody, and we defeated both of those. But ominously, Xehanort tells Terra that this is just one of his many paths, one of his many plans, leading us to believe that Xehanort must have had some backup plans about how this is all going to go down. Braig was working with / for Xehanort all along, even during the time he was Ansem's apprentice, meaning that they were plotting to undermine Ansem for a long time, and Braig most likely had a hand in the betrayal of Ansem the Wise. We know that Aqua has at least survived in the realm of darkness up until the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, because Aqua meets Ansem the Wise in the realm of darkness, and we can tell by his comments where in the timeline this is. He mentions that this is his second time on these shores, and we know about the first time is when his apprentices betrayed him. That's when he took on the personage of Diz and used the darkness to escape. With the way he talks about Sora, we can conclude that this is shortly after Ansem the Wise tried to encode Kingdom Hearts in the fight against the organization, which means that Aqua has been down in the realm of darkness and survived for over a decade. But most importantly, we finally kind of get a little bit of a hint about what was in Mickey's letter that was in the bottle that Kairi found at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, based on Sora's response saying that he had to help them and that he is who he is because of them. We can only assume that Mickey told him of the events that happened in this game. Mickey clearly believes that Terra, Aqua, and Ven can be saved, and Sora believes that he can help them. Mickey's letter must have conveyed to him the fact that all these events were set in motion all those years ago, and there are still people hurting from those events all this time later. And seeing that for now the future appears pretty clear, they have stopped Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas, Mickey feels like the time is right to enlist Sora and Riku's help to rescue his old friends who he knew all these years ago. I don't know. There's never really a chance for Mickey to mention these things because, first of all, the game wasn't in development, and second of all, they were pretty busy fighting Xemnas in the organization. But now it seems that the next arc of our story will at least focus on trying to help Terra, Aqua, and Ven, and even all of the friends that are gone that have been hurt, because there are a lot of them that are gone. I mean, Roxas is still a part of Sora, but he doesn't get to be his own person. Nobody remembers that Xion exists. Axel disappeared at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Terra and Ven, we're not really sure. Ven is still sleeping. Aqua's waiting in the realm of darkness. So, realistically, Sora has a lot of people that he can now focus on helping to be their own people. So yeah, the Blank Points movie tells us a lot. And ultimately, we kind of see at the end here, it's kind of set up the next arc. has going to have something to do with us attempting to rescue people who have been hurt by Xehanort's schemes, by his plans. For this next part, there are secret reports that you can collect throughout the game, and they are Xehanort's secret reports. They shed a little light on the schemes, the plans, the inner thoughts of Master Xehanort, and really kind of flesh out his character as, again, I won't say a villain, but as an antagonist. His goals run opposite to what most of the other people in Kingdom Hearts want or desire. And we'll kind of see that as I read to you, first of all, a letter that he writes to Ericus and his 12 reports that he writes in his time, reflecting back on his time as a Keyblade Master, giving us a little bit of insight into his life. First up, we have a letter that Xehanort writes to Ericus before the Mark of Mastery exam. Please accept my deepest gratitude for the invitation to witness your pupil's ascension to the office of true Keyblade Master. It was a heavy mantle our master placed upon your shoulders, naming you successor, but you have nonetheless persevered and raised 2 masters yourself. I know it cannot have been easy. I did you a terrible harm in the past over a petty difference in opinion, and just a few years ago selfishly thrust my own burdens upon you. I think of you like a younger brother, and yet, fool that I am, I have never availed myself of countless opportunities to apologize or thank you for opening your home to the boy. Yet not once have you blamed me. On the contrary, here you are inviting me to such an important ceremony. I intend to be there to offer you all my blessings. Our master chose his heir wisely. Ours is a bizarrely ironic task, to watch over the light from the shadows, but in the face of that, the warmth in your heart and unfailing dedication to the light impresses me to no end. I've taken to wandering the world and seen much darkness hiding in the light. Lately, I fear it has taken a turn for the worse. Perhaps Yensid has already told you about the Unversed. These fledgling emotions derive from negativity, and I can now sense their presence in nearly every world. And on the topic of darkness, we must speak of another matter that concerns me, one related to the upcoming ceremony. When I visited several years ago, your pupil Terra drew my attention. His power is immense, to be sure, but with his heart I could see darkness just waiting to be awakened. I know this is none of my business, but I have reservations about welcoming Terra as a true Keyblade Master without taking certain precautions. The traditional examination, perhaps, to see if he has the Mark of Mastery. The choice is yours, and I will humbly respect your decision. Xehanort's Report 1. Much time has passed since I left the home of my youth behind, and in the myriad worlds I have since visited, I have gained much knowledge. On these pages, I intend to record a portion of that knowledge and put the course of my life to paper. Upon reflection, my life underwent the most considerable sea change when I arrived at that place. Yes, it began when I found a master, and another I would later call my brother, when I found a new home. Then there was the Keyblade. For what purpose was it begotten, and by whom? During my training as one of its wielders, the precepts offered a clear answer. The Keyblade existed so that we who watched over the light could protect the world from shadows. But was that the true answer? Could there not be more to it than that? My heart sought knowledge, and so I sometimes visited other worlds, though such travel was forbidden unless duty required, and found what my heart sought. Xehanort's Report 2. Our master instructed us to don armor while traveling between worlds, so that we might shield ourselves from the darkness. But there, in the lanes between, I could feel the force of it, the power, and from then on, I forwent my armor's protection. I'd been told the darkness would devour me, but what terrors could it possibly hold, so long as I found the strength to control it? The world is vast, and the worlds within the greater world uncountable. Like little islands, they dot a great ocean between, which keeps them ignorant of each other, uncorrupted. Each world has its own order. Unlike us, they could not know of the world in its entirety, and we were never to enlighten them. Xehanort's Report 3. In ancient times, no such buffers kept the larger world divided. There were no walls of light enclosing each smaller world the way they do today. Nothing prevented one from physically interfering with the next. At that time, the world was filled with light and a great many Keyblade wielders. But without buffers, the worlds began to squabble over ownership of the light. You see, they learned of the Keyblade's true use. War broke out as each of the Keyblade wielders struggled to lay claim to an almighty entity known as Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts could be described as an aggregate of hearts. Worlds, too, have hearts just like people. Each world's heart is concealed from sight, beyond a hidden door. By gathering all the hearts of all the worlds in a single place, one may complete Kingdom Hearts. Xehanort's Report 4. And when Kingdom Hearts is complete, it is said the one who opens its door will bring about the creation of the next world. Such a feat is above any human, or to put it in a different way, whoever opens that door will be reborn as something far greater than human. Light and darkness are two sides of the same coin. Without darkness, there is no light. The Keyblade wielders' great war over Kingdom Hearts was fought by defenders of the light, servants of the darkness, and those who sought to reconcile the two, and those motivated by nothing more than lust for power. A whole spectrum of thought was swept into the conflict, and the worlds that did not go to war found the war brought to them. In the end, the whole world was cast into darkness. That was how the ancient Keyblade War drew to a close. To this day, no one has ever managed to open the door to Kingdom Hearts. Sometime later, the little light that remained in the hearts of the few gave rise to the world we know today. One made of many worlds behind just as many walls, so that the Keyblade War would not be repeated. Xehanort's Report 5. At present, the lanes and corridors that run between the worlds may only be traversed by us Keyblade wielders and those who have given themselves over to darkness. As the former, our duty is to cross the chasms between worlds and guard against the latter, whose darkness corrupts and contaminates, so that no world need ever be lost again. Few Keyblade wielders remain now. I have heard of but a handful of others outside my circle, but the world is vast, and more of our kind may be out there. Now, in addition to the realm of light in which we reside, there is also a realm of darkness, and the realm between, which connects the two. The realm of darkness is most forbidden. I am told that none who set foot there have ever returned. Xehanort's Report 6. There are 3 families of Keyblades: the Keyblades of light we wield, Keyblades of darkness, and Keyblades of heart. The first and second families differ only in origin. Keyblades of darkness are found in the realm of darkness and are counterparts to the Keyblades we use in the realm of light. The third type of key, the Keyblade of heart, came into existence when the world was reorganized after the Keyblade War. Without this key, Kingdom Hearts is forever beyond a person's reach. Only by gathering together 7 hearts of pure light, hearts completely devoid of darkness, may one forge a Keyblade of heart and open the door to Kingdom Hearts. And as stated before, opening this door arguably gives that person control over all worlds and all people. Xehanort's Report 7. I've uncovered the Keyblade's ultimate mystery. You see, besides the 3 families of Keyblades, there is another Keyblade. While it may sound the same when spoken, it is notated uniquely. X-Blade. And make no mistake, while it resembles a normal Keyblade, it is something altogether different. Keyblades are said to be man-made counterparts to Kingdom Hearts. The Keyblade, however, coexists with Kingdom Hearts. It is only forged when 2 hearts of equal power intersect. 1 heart of pure darkness, 1 heart of pure light. At the time of its forging, Kingdom Hearts appears. It must be noted, though, that this Kingdom Hearts is special. Unlike the Kingdom Hearts brought about forcibly and artificially through the collection of hearts, this Kingdom Hearts is a perfect and complete union of all the world's hearts. Surely it was over this that the ancient Keyblade War was fought. If so, the walls that divide the worlds today are of little consequence. With the Keyblade, all their hearts could be instantly reunited, and the Keyblade War refought. Xehanort's Report 8. My brother pupil Ericus thinks only in absolutes. He has persuaded himself that light is the only way, but forgets that light cannot exist without shadow. I believe a balance of light and darkness is what sustains our world, but too much of the darkness has been stamped out, disrupting that balance. Someone must tear down this tyranny of light and reorganize the world around the darkness, which then creeps back in. Ericus and I did not see eye to eye. I left and wandered the world. This was perhaps the first time I felt truly free since that day I departed my boyhood home. But free to do what? I'd already shown the mark and become a Keyblade Master, but having been passed over as successor, all that remained to me was the road of teacher. Ordinarily, Keyblade Masters take pupils under their wings, malleable minds in which to impress the precepts of the Keyblade wielder and keep our profession alive for generations to come. Was my time drawing to an end then, after all I had accomplished since casting away the place of my birth? Surely waiting for a quiet death would not do, not when there was still so much I needed to see for myself. Powers help me, I thought. My body is so old. Xehanort's Report 9. We Keyblade Masters have a special gift. We can extract a heart, be it our own or that of another. By continuing this cycle, it is possible to remain in the world of the living forever. As a boy, I dreamed of seeing the furthest reaches of the world. If only I went far enough, there had to be a world out there in which no one had ever before set foot. And now I know of such a world. If I become the first to open Kingdom Hearts' door, I can create a next world in which light and darkness exist in perfect equilibrium. So there I stood, with vast knowledge in one gnarled, dying hand and newfound purpose in the other. The next step was clear. I needed a new vessel. And that was when I met Ventus and made him my pupil. We were destined to meet, and I could sense the potential within him, but the boy was too benign for his own good. I came to the conclusion that he was too frail to serve as a vessel, and decided to use him for a second purpose I had in mind. I would remove the darkness from his heart and split him in two. Then I would have my heart of pure light and my heart of pure darkness. Xehanort's Report 10. As was to be expected, Ventus lacked the constitution for such an ordeal. I was able to remove the darkness inside him and create Vanitas, a heart of pure darkness, but Ventus drifted into the clutches of sleep. Ventus' heart of pure light and Vanitas' heart of pure darkness. If both could be made strong enough to one day clash, I knew the Keyblade would be forged. But Vanitas took too much of Ven's heart, and from that fracture I could see the last of Ventus' light was slipping away. The boy deserved a place to spend his final moments peacefully. And what should come to mind but my own boyhood home? My legs took me there unbidden, and as soon as I stood there on the same beach where I had made my choice so many years ago, I thought, not a single thing has changed. Here, in this quiet world, time marches in place. Content that Ventus would find peace here, I started to walk away. But just then, the boy held up his Keyblade. The light within him had not died. Xehanort's From Destiny Islands confirmed. Do with that what you will. Xehanort's Report 11. Ventus and Vanitas were not matched in power. I could not train them together, or Vanitas' darkness would gnaw away what little Ventus had left. Of course, since I needed a place where the boy's light might flourish, the answer was obvious. Ericus and his absolutes. Considering how we had parted ways, I expected friction. But if anything, Ericus seemed delighted to see me again. He readily agreed to take care of Ventus. Now I need only wait for the boy's heart to get stronger. I had not visited this second home of mine for some time, and discovered Ericus had already found 2 pupils of his own. Within one of them, Terra, I sensed something. The boy, though well-intentioned, seeks power single-mindedly, and that kind of hunger is a seabed for darkness. I had found my vessel. Xehanort's Report 12. The time has come. I received word from Ericus that his pupils are to become true Keyblade Masters. Terra and Aqua. They will be easy now to lure into the outside world, but Ventus, I will get nowhere without him. Vanitas can feel some of what Ventus feels, and he says Terra is the key. Ventus has loved Terra like a real brother ever since he let him keep his old wooden Keyblade. It seems we have found a loose thread at which we can tug to unravel Ventus' heart. The first step is to get Terra alone. Then we need to plant the seeds of doubt in Ventus. Let him carry his faint light as he chases his brother into the darkness. Let the darkness make his light stronger. Then let the light deepen the darkness. and where the two finally meet is where the stuff of legends will become real. So it's in these reports that Xehanort writes down his thoughts, his findings, his musings, the things that he has accomplished and done throughout his life. We get a little more insight into where he came from. If you're smart enough to understand the writing, the way Nomura tells stories, you can understand that Xehanort's childhood home was the Destiny Islands. And that is the very, very first scene you see when you start playing Birth by Sleep, of a young man standing on a shore saying, "This world is just too small." That was Xehanort. We also see the letter that he writes to Ericus, where he's invited to the Marker Mastery exam, shedding a little more light on their relationship. It talks about their falling out, which we get to see in a flashback during Ven's story. So obviously there's kind of been this, they appear to be very close, but there's been this kind of unspoken thing that happened between them all those years ago. Xehanort talks about his ultimate goal. He believes that darkness and light should exist in balance, for they are two sides of the same coin, and that the current order of the universe, these forces are out of balance. He sees that there is too much light in the world, and in his wanderings determined that this is unsustainable. And you might think, well, why is there a problem if there's too much light in the world? Well, because light begets darkness. You can't have one without the other. So if there's too much light, the deeper the darkness is that is waiting. And Xehanort says this as much as he travels the world, saying that despite that there's so much light, he has seen some awful, awful darkness, some awful, awful things out in the world. So this is when he begins to detail and enact his plan. He notices Terra's dark streak when he drops off Ventus and chooses him as his new vessel. He explains his plot with Vanitas to make Ventus stronger. In this way, he can gain a new body by leaving his old dying one behind, and he can forge the Keyblade. With it, he can call the hearts of all worlds, summoning the true Kingdom Hearts and recreating the world as he sees fit. A utopia that he believes exists only when light and darkness are in a balance. If he does this, he says that he will restart the Keyblade War, and this is the reason the survivors of the Keyblade War, the lights in the hearts of children, whoever remade the world as it is today, did so and separated all the worlds from one another so that something like the Keyblade War would never happen again. That's why the worlds are divided from one another. That conflict was so destructive, it rent reality asunder, covered everything in darkness, and only the light of a remaining few managed to rebuild the worlds in the way they exist today. So this is the part where we kind of talk about Xehanort as a villain / antagonist. And he's not a straight up villain because he's not inherently evil, and we can see this in his writings. Xehanort's ambitions are understandable. He is not a brooding, malevolent villain seeking to destroy everything just for the sake of being evil and gaining power. He sees an issue with the established order of the universe. He is convinced that he alone has the knowledge and answers to be able to fix it. Although it is an awful, awful solution. In going down this path and chasing this knowledge, he has alienated all his bonds of friendship, choosing to wander the worlds alone, rather than working together with others, with Ericus, to fix the flaws that he sees. Rather than having bonds of friendship, he decides to use other people to his advantage, caring only about his ends, his goals, the things he is chasing. All are justifiably expendable towards his greater good. And this is the part that makes him reprehensible as a villain in the world of Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is a game about connections, and he abandons all of them, isolating his heart in loneliness, convinced that he and only he can make things right, and he does not care about the people he hurts along the way to achieve this ultimate goal. He's convinced that his ends will justify the means. A modern contemporary, and I don't like making this comparison just because of Marvel, but a modern contemporary comparison of this is, I think immediately of Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Thanos identifies a problem in the universe. There's so much life, it's outgaining all of the resources, right? He wants to cut all life in half so that there's plenty for everybody. But he's going about it in the most extreme, horrifying way. He's like, the only solution to this problem is to wipe out half of all life. And Thanos believes that he is the only one that has the will, the knowledge, the understanding, the acceptance of this one truth to be able to fix everything. Xehanort is the same. He identifies a problem with the world, with the universe, and armed with all this knowledge he has from history, he takes the wrong lessons from history. Not that this power that he's seeking shouldn't be sought, because it was sought once before. People started to fight over it, and the world was literally destroyed. Millions upon millions of lives snuffed out in a terrible war that consumed all of existence. But Xehanort's convinced that this great suffering is the only way to create a world that is truly at peace, truly in balance. And we can see from this game that his actions, that Xehanort's actions, impact not only the lives of Terra, Aqua, and Ven, but literally everyone in the Kingdom Hearts universe so far. Sora, Riku, Kairi, Roxas, Xion, Axel, Naminé, all the members of Organization 13, Disney villains and protagonists, Ansem the Wise. Xehanort's schemes, plans, and insistence on doing it his way has carved a path of misery and destruction through so many lives, and he cares not, which makes that his greatest sin. He's convinced he's doing the right thing and that any cost is justifiable in the grand scheme of things, which flies in stark contrast to all the things that we've been taught in Kingdom Hearts so far. Whew, okay, let's connect this to what's going on currently in the games that we've played previously, right? Because we're in the present time now as of the completion of this game. Conceivably, Sora, Riku, and Kairi will be taking back over the story. But there's one cutscene that I didn't discuss, and I left it out on purpose because I wanted to talk about it here. After you get the credits roll in the final episode, so after you've beaten Terra Xehanort, after Ven is put in Castle Oblivion, Aqua's trapped in the Dark Realm, blank points, after you see all that, after the credits roll in the final episode, we get one last cutscene. So think back to the final episode where we get the scene of Sora and Riku on the beach. They're talking, and Sora starts crying for no reason. Riku tells him to open his heart up into the worlds to see if somebody's hurting out there who needs his help. We hear Sora call out into the worlds, and as his voice says, "Hey, can you hear me? Do you need help?" we pan to Ventus sitting alone in Castle Oblivion. And now we get another cutscene of a young Sora. He's standing on a stained glass platform that we would recognize as his heart. So this is a dive to the heart. He asks once again if everything is okay. And we see descending towards him the light of a heart. And as it speaks in the voice of Ventus.
Hey, can you hear me?
I heard your voice. It cut through the darkness around me.
Huh.
All alone, I followed the sound into a sea of light and found myself here with you. You gave me something back when I needed it most. A second chance.
I did?
But now I have to go back to sleep again.
Are you sad?
Would you mind if I stayed here with you?
Sure, if it will make you feel better.
Thank you.
I've alluded to it for the last 3 episodes now for this entire series. The heart that Ven meets when his heart is damaged, the heart that's on its way to be born, and the heart that his heart flees to after his confrontation with Vanitas is Sora's. Ven asks if he can stay with Sora for a while, and Sora tells him yes, as Ven's heart enters his body, saying that he has to go back to sleep now. This changes everything. This makes Sora the central connection in the entire series. This is what ties him to this trio of heroes. It makes Aqua's and Terra's visits to Destiny Islands so important and ultimately connects Sora, Riku, and Kairi to Xehanort through Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. Terra saw himself in Riku, strength, sincerity, a desire to explore and see what's out there, and gave him the Keyblade so that it only makes sense that Riku could wield it now. Aqua sees strength and light in both of those boys, but doesn't want their friendship to end up like hers, so decides not to burden with Sora with the gift of the Keyblade as well. But because Ven decided to stay with Sora when his heart needed a place to go, Sora has been carrying his heart with him the whole time, giving him a connection to the Keyblade. So on that fateful night when Destiny Islands were destroyed, when Riku momentarily gave into the darkness to realize his dreams of seeing what's out in the world, and Sora desperately tried to reach out to him to protect him, the Keyblade came to Sora because of his connection to Ven. They might say, oh, Eric, well, that kind of cheapens Sora's character if he can only use this power because he's housing Ven's heart inside of him. And yeah, any logical person would draw that conclusion and be like, oh, well, that's kind of disappointing. But think about Sora's character. Nomura, since the beginning, has been very adamant about Sora's character. He did not design and create Sora to be some super badass super soldier or an anime main protagonist or anything like that. His power is not the Keyblade. The Keyblade is the tool that he uses, but his true power is the connections he's able to make with people. Nomura wanted Sora to be relatable to everyone so that everyone could see themselves in him. Wielding a mythical weapon doesn't make Sora a hero. His steadfast commitment to his bonds of friendship make him important. His connections to everyone make him important. And that is why Sora is the key. That is why everybody at the end of the Blank Points movie is saying Sora's name, because they know that he and only he has the connections to all of them. And we know that powerful connections can save anyone. Powerful connections help Sora save Riku and Kairi. Very important. Speaking of Riku, he had been passed the Keyblade from Terra, right? And he's had a journey that has kind of mirrored Terra's. He too struggles with the darkness inside of him. He ultimately gives into it, succumbs to darkness, gets his body stolen by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. As of right now, Riku is able to overcome in a way that Terra was not able to, and he's currently fighting the darkness within him. He hasn't completed that struggle yet. He's currently kind of on this redemption arc, right? That's kind of what he's on, whereas Terra didn't get the chance to have that redemption arc because his body is taken from him. He suffered the ultimate consequence, but Riku realized in the end that his bonds with Sora are important and kind of jettison him off on this trajectory of redemption. I know I spent a lot of time talking about Sora, but let's mention Kairi for just a minute. Aqua immediately notes that Kairi is special when she arrives and saves her at Radiant Garden, and we know from Kingdom Hearts 1, she comes from Radiant Garden / Hollow Bastion, as do the Final Fantasy gang. That world fell to ruin and destruction, and while it's not completely gone, it became the husk known as Hollow Bastion. And all of those people left that land when it fell to darkness, the Final Fantasy gang and Kairi. We know that Kairi turned up on Destiny Island suddenly when Sora and Riku were kids. They mention it in a cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 1 where there's like, hey, there's a new girl at the mayor's house. She just kind of showed up. This is a result of the spell Aqua cast on Kairi, protecting her, saying that when she needed it most, her heart would lead her to the light of others who could protect her. Since they had meetings with Riku and Sora, this only makes sense she would end up with them. The bonds and connections of the series becoming more and more intertwined. The bonds, destiny, never left to chance. Everything that happens for a reason. Even things that happened in a game almost 8 years ago. Nomura knew what he was doing, telling this kind of story. It's a very interconnected story, and I think that's what turns people off, is how interconnected it is. It's not siloed off like Final Fantasy. You can't just pick one up and play it. It very much is an experience meant to be played through the entire series. By the way, this also explains why Roxas, the nobody of Sora, looks like Ven, because Ven's heart is literally within Sora. So something happened there when Sora turned himself into a Heartless Kingdom Hearts 1 that made his nobody Roxas come out looking like Ventus. It also explains why Vanitas looks like Sora, because their hearts touched when Sora was first being born. They've been connected, Sora and Ven, for all of Sora's existence. Fuck. Kingdom Hearts. Holy shit. Tetsuya Nomura. God damn. Okay. Listen to some music. I need to compose myself before we go to the next part here. Okay, I've touched on the points I've wanted to make there. I've tied the games forward to future titles and to past titles. I don't know. I've tied the games together somehow. My brain is buzzing just thinking about it. This shit gets me so hyped, if you can't tell. Ugh, it's so good. Fuck all your other storytelling in video games. This is peak storytelling. People just don't like it because it's hard and it's different than American storytelling. People need their hands held, concept explained to them. Fuck it. Use your brain and think about it a little bit, and you'll figure it out. Ugh, it's so good. Okay, let's start looking towards the future, where we're going to be going from here. We have 2 games titles coming up that are going to be interesting. Kingdom Hearts Recoded, which is one that I don't have a lot of experience with. I played it through one time, so we'll dive into the history of what used to be a mobile game and is now a remake on the Nintendo DS. And Dream Drop Distance, which is arguably the game that precedes Kingdom Hearts 3, even though it was a bunch of like mobile phone bullshit and a tie-on part to Birth by Sleep that came in between that. The distance between Dream Drop Distance and Kingdom Hearts 3 was like 6-7 years. The longest stretch of time that we just didn't get any kind of new mainline Kingdom Hearts game. We had like the mobile stuff going on, and we got a little bit of like a teaser / tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3 in the 2.8 collection, which brought Dream Drop Distance to the console. But we'll get to all that stuff. I just want to talk about everything right now and have like a 10-hour episode, but I can't. So where do we go from here? Well, we know a couple of things. We know that Ven is still in Castle Oblivion waiting to be woken up. We now know his heart is with Sora. Whether or not Sora knows that, we're not sure. It's unlikely that he does, given that no one, not even Mickey, knows what has happened to Ven's heart in the aftermath. And Sora hasn't really noticed or remembered that Ven has been with him this whole time. Might have been one of those things where like Sora was just young enough where like formative memories weren't happening yet. And maybe he's just like, oh, this was just like an imagination thing that happened. So we don't know. We're not sure if now, after reading that letter, if Sora is aware, if anyone was aware that that was the case. Aqua, at least up until the time of Kingdom Hearts 2, is still in the realm of darkness as she meets Ansem the Wise after he sacrificed himself at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 in the world that never was. A very impressive feat. For in Xehanort's reports, he says that no one who sets foot in the realm of darkness has survived, and Aqua has survived there for at least 10 years. Sora's read the letter King Mickey sent him at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. We're assuming that it at least partially fills him in on what happened in Birth by Sleep, because he seems to be setting off to help the Wayfinder trio. Now, herein lies the problem. We don't know what became of Terra Xehanort. Sora and friends have defeated both his Heartless Ansem Seeker of Darkness and his nobody Xemnas. It's not even clear if he can be saved. Ven is asleep in a castle where nobody can find him except Aqua. Sora has his heart, so if they find him, Ven can realistically be awakened, but in order to do that, they would need Aqua. Aqua is still trapped in the realm of darkness, so for anyone to be rescued, they would have to get her out of there first. She's managed to survive up until now, an incredible feat of strength and will, but can she continue to survive until Sora can help her? Because none of this matters if they can't save her. They can't save Ven if they don't save Aqua, if she doesn't survive. The stage is set for the second half of the Dark Seeker saga. Recoded and Dream Drop Distance are up next. Can Sora help the trio of long-lost friends of everybody who suffered at the hands of Xehanort? Can he set right the ultimate hurts of Master Xehanort? Have we seen the last of Master Xehanort? Or, as he said to Terra, does he have backup plans? Before we close out this episode, I normally go through all the stuff you can do in the game, right? And this game has like the standard stuff. You can play the command boards. You can complete the journal for all three characters. You have to collect the Xehanort reports across all three stories. You can do the Mirage Arena, which has a lot of really cool like fights and stuff still. There's just no multiplayer functionality to it. I wanted to make special note of the secret bosses because I think Kingdom Hearts does secret/super bosses better than anybody else. Its secret/super bosses are fan servicey, just super intense, super hard, pinnacle challenge type. It's what you would expect from a secret boss or a super boss. So I wanted to make mention of just a couple of them. There are a couple that you get from fighting through the Mirage Arena. The first is called the Armor of Ericus, and this is a fearsome fight against the Armor of Ericus, which, you know, all the characters from Birth by Sleep had these armors, so it only makes sense that Ericus would have a set of armor, and he's got this fucking badass samurai design. It looks so cool. Like, it's such a clean design, and this fight, the armor features a greatly enhanced version of Ericus's moveset from when you fight him in the story. It comes with its own boss theme, which is called Master Tell Me the Truth, which, when you understand everything that happens with Ericus in the story, it's just, oh god, it's such a fucking badass name for a boss theme. Absolutely incredible. This version of Ericus truly showcases the old Keyblade Master's power and mastery that one would expect of his position. It's intense. It's so awesome. Second boss of the Mirage Arena, secret boss, is the No Heart. Side tangent here. If you take the letters of No Heart and rearrange them and add an X, you get Xehanort. Fun fact there. Always think about the anagrams when you're doing Kingdom Hearts research for stuff. They tell you a lot. So, remember the armor that Xemnas donned at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 during his multi-phase boss fight when he sits in the fucking chair and just has like a throne and all this crazy shit? Well, guess what? That's back. And rather than just sit in his chair, this time he gets up out of the fucking chair to whoop your ass with Xehanort's Keyblade, further signifying the connection between Xehanort and his other selves, by the way. And we get a fucking awesome remix. I don't know if it's a remix, but it's Force del Oscrit, which is the theme of Xemnas' boss fight. Going outside the Mirage Arena, if you return to the Keyblade Graveyard, you can fight the Vanitas Remnant, which again is a fucking awesome fight, also a bit of a BS fight, against a souped up Vanitas. With his color scheme is completely different. So rather than have like the dark with like the red veins and stuff, kind of tying him in with other darkness in the series, he's got a black and white color scheme. And here's another custom boss theme, which is called Enter the Void, which his original boss theme, if I remember correctly, is Enter the Darkness. So it's just like an enhanced version of that. Oh, so cool. I mean, I love the black and white Vanitas color scheme. It looks so clean. It's so fresh, as the kids would say. Lit? I don't know. What did the kids say these days? Not sure. So, third one. Fourth, second to last secret boss fight. Probably the most notable, the most infamous boss fight in the entire series. I know I gave a lot of praise to Lingering Will, and that boss fight is awesome, intense, very hard. Nothing in the series, with the exception of maybe some of the Remind stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3, hold a candle to the mysterious figure. And he is just a mysterious person who appears in an organization cloak and summons two fucking like blue lightsabers. They're just like beam swords just to fuck your shit up. Again, this is probably again, barring some of the stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3, because I haven't like fully experienced all that stuff yet, this is probably the most difficult fight in the entire series. He is fast. He has wicked up close combos. He has attacks that can hit you from afar, and he can close the distance in the blink of an eye. He can knock your fucking commands out of your command deck so you can't heal. There is zero margin for error in this boss fight. It is one of the most brutal challenges, not only in Kingdom Hearts, but in gaming. Mysterious Figure is infamous. And I'm going to play his boss theme. I'll tag it in here somewhere in this episode. His boss theme is insane. I still hear the violins in my nightmares, and that it's just, there's such a beautiful like violin progression in the middle of there when like the boss fight's like crescendoing to its highest point, and then like all the other instruments just cut out, and it's just this violin that's just doing these beautiful like scales, these beautiful progressions like up and down, and it's stunning. It's one of the most recognizable themes in the series. I like the Birth by Sleep soundtrack. It's a good soundtrack, but the best songs on this soundtrack are saved for these boss fights that you wouldn't even see if you weren't playing the final mix. A lot of people might not see them because they just don't complete the game to the full extent you have to. Oh, it's good. One last one. If you complete everything, if you're playing on the standard difficulty and you complete like literally everything, you fulfill the journal, you like all the achievements, you find everything. If you complete everything and complete the final episode, you'll get one more secret episode that shows Aqua like wandering through the realm of darkness, and she comes across one of the scariest, most fearsome designed enemies in the entire series, and it's known simply as Darkhide, is its official name, but most of the people in the community know it as Red Eyes. Signified by its glowing red eyes, it is a monstrous, pureblood, heartless, like I said, that has piercing red eyes that glow at you from the distance out of the darkness. And its body it's got like a rather like wolf/lichen-esque form. It's heartless. It's designed to do one thing. It hunts Aqua through the dark realm, and it's absolutely terrifying. And this game it's got some heavy themes, but it's relatively lighthearted. I wouldn't say there's any point where it's just scary, but this fight and just the concept of thinking about Aqua trapped in the realm of darkness alone with all these horrors, and then something this terrifying is like hunting her. And there are points where it just jumps out of the arena and just you have to track it by its red eyes, just looking out at you in the shadows, is just absolutely, absolutely terrifying. Unless you play the game on the hardest difficulty, to which then you just have to beat the game. The requirements to unlock the secret episode where this happens is insane. A lot of people probably won't, if you're just doing casual playthroughs, won't bother with this. They won't get to see it, but go on YouTube, research Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Red Eyes or Darkhide fight. It's fucking it's insane. They included 5 extra bosses, not even counting all the shit you can fight in the Mirage Arena. They didn't have to do that. They included 5 that are just like this is fan servicey stuff. It's the armor of Master Ericus. It's a revamped fight against the armor of Xemnas, signifying tying, and all the secret boss fights like tie into the future of the series, right? So we have Ericus, we have the No Heart, the Vanitas Remnant, the Mysterious Figure, who we know from games past that we have these mysterious boss fights, like Unknown from Kingdom Hearts 1, who turned out to be Xemnas, like the Lingering Will from Kingdom Hearts 2, who turned out to be the armor of Terra. The Mysterious Figure most likely will show up in a future Kingdom Hearts installment, a future Kingdom Hearts title. The boss fights, this is like some of the most peak secret boss fights in the series. Like, these are just legendary. They're so good. The music's so good for all of them. Personal favorite, Dark Impetus for Mysterious Figure, and Master Tell Me the Truth for the Armor of Ericus fight. So good. The theme for the Red Eyes is Hunter of the Dark. Again, that's a hauntingly it's such a good theme. Like, I can't go and listen to these. They're so great. I'll include a couple of them. I'll probably most likely include Dark Impetus for the Mysterious Figure fight, because that violin progression is unreal. And when you get your ass beat by the Mysterious Figure over and over again, you just hear that violin progression, kind of becomes traumatic. So I will not be forgetting that anytime soon. So that, my friends, is all that I have to say about Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep until I produce all these episodes, put them out, and then realize, I should have said like 4 more things. But I think I did a decent enough job of tying together the themes, tying together the story elements, casting the threads of the story into the future, tying them to the games that came before. Birth by Sleep sets the tone, the story for the rest of the series going forward. And it's one of my favorite games in the series. I think it's probably the best. It's probably my favorite of like the not numbered games. So out of 1, 2, and 3, I would say Birth by Sleep is my favorite of the side console games by far. I think it's, there are obvious limitations to it having been on the PlayStation Portable, and that shows when they ported it to the HD collections to make available on console. But narrative-wise, story-wise, all this extra stuff they added in the final mix really, really make it one of the strongest Kingdom Hearts experiences. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're moving on to Kingdom Hearts Recoded and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance in the near future. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can go to linktr.ee/Unlockables podcast, and you can follow any one of the social media links there. I've got my Twitter, Instagram. We have a Discord server that has other video game creators inside of it. Content creators, not actual video game creators, although maybe some of them are making games. I don't know. Content creators, and we talk about everything from games to movies to food to sports, life, anything in between. It's a great small community of people that have come together to we're just all friends in there. We're just hanging out. We talk about the games that we love and things like that. So come and be a part of the community. I'm also on TikTok at Unlockables Pod, and I'm probably going to start making some more short form video because I'm a marketing major for my job, so I need to learn how to use the platform, and I think being able to learn how to make mobile videos will probably help. And I can talk about video games in a shorter fashion, and it'll force me to kind of learn to become more concise. So I'm on the tick of talks now. That's great. So give me a follow there as well if you feel so inclined. But with that being said, I'll leave you guys with the customary outros. It's not just the story of video games, it's the story of you. And may your heart be your guiding key.